In today's episode of the Tech Corner, we're gonna pull up and talk about what really matters when we talk about and discuss the Samsung Z Flip 5. And I'm gonna break it down for you real quick in this video. So the first thing that truly matters with the Galaxy Z Flip 5 is how you can use these smartphone cameras like no other device. The only device that can slightly compete would be the Z Fold 5, but we'll get more into that in a different video. So if I were to open and unlock this device, go into the camera, I literally have a viewfinder for my camera so that I can snap a selfie or a video with the better cameras, in air quotes. We'll talk more on that later, but you're using the rear cameras, which are the money shot. So if I wanna hold my hand up right now, get a photo, snap, boom. And if I swipe over, it goes into video and I can see the full 16:9 aspect ratio of this video. And then if I tap on the screen, I am now recording a video which I'm able to handhold this device, this small square that's extremely light, and capture video in a vlogging perspective that's so much more familiar to an actual camera than any other smartphone. I absolutely love this ability. I literally tap in the video and I'm good to go. Now, when you open it up and you continue to use this camera, this is where the magic is, because as you guys can see, I'm able to angle this device while it sits down, and I'm able to literally have my own tripod built into this smartphone. The Z Flip 5 is ideal for capturing all of your social media. So all of my social media freaks out there and TikToking and hip hop and flip flop and all that good stuff, you can do it right here on this device, as convenient as possible, as convenient as ever. And it doesn't just stop here. Yes, I'm using a selfie camera, but I can stop this video, flip it around, turn on covered preview, flip it towards me, hold up the 5, bam. And now I'm able to do the exact thing that I was doing with the front-facing camera with the rear cameras, which are the money shooting cameras, which means I'm gonna get the best quality out of these cameras and I can see the full vertical aspect ratio. You can also zoom in if you want a like tighter shot, check yourself, you know what I mean? Make sure your face and stuff is looking clean. But generally, I'm able to capture content without the need to carry any type of selfie stick or extra accessory, and that's all done from the Z Flip 5 itself. Oh, and you just want to snap a selfie? The same goes. Hand up, pose, and you just snap the selfie with the Z Flip 5 without even needing anyone to take that photo for you. So in terms of camera ability in the smartphone package, but in comparison to the typical smartphone, the candy bar smartphone, this is offering so much more in the ability to capture video and photo footage because of its foldable capabilities. Let's get into the next thing that truly matters about the Z Flip 5, and that is how compact this smartphone truly is. Like the fact that this thing really unfolds into a full-size smartphone and then folds down into an even more compact smartphone experience is absolutely clutch. It's super light in comparison to your typical, larger smartphone, which we are typically using. It is so much lighter. Oh my goodness, even in its folded form. And it's so much more compact, taking up far less room in your pocket. And that's an absolute plus to why most people will probably consider the Z Flip 5 their go-to smartphone. Now, another thing that really matters about the Z Flip 5 is the new hinge design. You guys, one of the biggest concerns, if you're getting into this foldable market, is gonna be the screen, how durable it is, and then the hinge. These two are the most important aspects of a device, and literally Samsung has spent all of these years striving for perfection in the area of the hinge, and they may have actually achieved that with this hinge design. It's lighter, it's more compact, less moving parts, and hopefully it's the most durable version yet. Now, another thing to keep in mind with the Z Flip 5 that actually matters is this new cover screen display. I forgot what they're calling it. It doesn't really matter. What really matters is how functional it is or how non-functional it is. If I tap this with my fingerprint, unlock it, I swipe over to the left, I can see all of my notifications and so forth and stay locked in. Now, if I swipe back over to the right, then we get into this Good Lock launcher. Now, this is the fix for what is the lack in the Z Flip 5. This allows you to load any app you want to on this cover display. But the real reality no one really talks about is how optimized or unoptimized most apps are for this option. Yes, you can use your apps, you can get in here, you can do some things like YouTube works pretty well, honestly. I'm gonna be real, but I'm not necessarily looking to watch vertical videos on this small cover display, but it does function. Now, when we get on Instagram, it's like hit or miss. Some things fit and conform, some things don't. Let me go into X really quick, formerly known as Twitter. Now, as you guys can see, this full picture will not fit on the cover. Oh, I could tap and then it fits. Okay. So again, there are some apps that work well, but then there's other apps that you use on a daily that you're gonna put in here that probably won't function as well. Now, I have run across multiple apps that I use personally that I'm not gonna open because I have personal info that do not conform as well as some of these other apps have on this cover display, making it not as fully functional as you would believe. So don't fall for that. Just know, typically in reality, if you scroll all the way right, these are the apps that you can actually use with it. But then if you use that launcher, you get a little hack and so forth. There are a couple cool widgets that are useful, you know, alarms and calendars and things like that. This is just a stopgap to what you ultimately have to do, which is open your device to truly use it as a smartphone. Now, another thing that matters when it comes to the Z Flip 5 is battery. The battery sizing has not improved or enlarged from its previous predecessor, the Z Flip 4. Battery life kind of suffers on this device in comparison to what we're used to when using other flagship or even non-flagships. I'm pretty sure the S23 Plus is gonna give you a far better battery experience than this. It also has 1,000 milliamp hours more than the Z Flip 5. That's one of my largest requests to Samsung for the Z Flip, is for the battery to get bigger. In order to do that, I think they need to widen this thing, but we won't go down that rabbit hole now. Let's just stick to what matters. Basically, the battery needs to grow. Now, while I have the Z Flip 5 unfolded, the next thing we need to talk about is this weird aspect ratio with this inner display. Listen, you guys, this thing is a 22:9. This thing is extremely tall and very skinny. Now, if you go to a traditional device, right here, you guys can see how much wider the S23 Ultra is and how much more familiar this device screen size is in comparison to this. It's very, very slender. And when you pull it out and you unfold it, whoa, like you look at it, it's like, it feels awkward. And yes, if you're watching stuff that's ultra wide, I guess that's okay, but let's be real. The majority of items that we watch on the internet are in 16:9, which will yield nice sized black bars on the left and right of that media. And for you to expand it, you're just gonna lose information. So it's not necessarily ideal. Which, again, if they widen it, aspect ratio would improve. Okay, let me carry on. So another thing that matters with the Z Flip 5 is, what is this device exactly and where does it land? Because is this a S23 Plus that folds in half? Well, on the contrary to belief, I don't think it's necessarily that, because if we get into spec for spec between the two, this one doesn't really add up to a S23 Plus and it costs more. So let's break it down really quick for you. The Flip 5 weighs less. It has no dust resistance, which the S23 Plus has. They're both on a 1080, 120 hertz refresh display, so no difference really there. Same chipset, same GPU, but different camera hardware. And honestly, this is one of my biggest disappointments with the Z Flip 5 is the camera hardware, but that's another rant for another day in another video. Matter of fact, we'll save that for the end. Literally, all in all, if you go spec for spec with the S23 Plus, a lot is the same, but so much is different when you get into the display sizing, as well as the camera hardware and so forth. But the Z Flip 5 costs more. I get it, you're paying for the technology, this hinge build and this foldable, you know, OLED panel. I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. But what exactly is the Z Flip? Is it a flagship? Because I'm gonna be honest, I look at flagship as more of the S23 Ultra and in some ways the Fold 5. But it has a flagship price point at $1,000 and up, but it doesn't necessarily have a flagship package. And that's why I get slightly confused. We need better speakers, better cameras, a better display, in my opinion. That's just a want, not necessarily a need in order to enjoy the device. A better aspect ratio with that display. And I just think all around, a better Z Flip. Let's be honest. For $1,000, you're getting a convenient, small, compact smartphone like no other. A one-man shooter device for shooting all of your TikToks and Instagram Reels that's so ideal and convenient. Very pocketable, very tolerable device, and a very fun smartphone to use. I absolutely enjoy the Z Flip. until I get on my tech snob-ish and start to expect more under the hood. But if I'm just being basic, which this device literally is that, this is a basic smartphone. And let's be honest, after the honeymoon phase wears off, after you've unfolded it and closed it so many times to the point where, you don't care anymore, what do you have left? It's just a basic smartphone experience. There's not enough beyond the ability to unfold it and close it that yields anything premium, in my opinion. Yes, the build quality is there. Basically, you got a Dodge Charger with a Hellcat hood and a regular Charger engine, V6, not the Scatty, but your joint look like a Hellcat. That's basically what the Z Flip 5 is. Hit the subscribe button, smash that like button, and come back for more on the Tech Corner. That's just my hot take with the Z Flip 5. Now, I could be totally wrong, and you guys out there could be absolutely enjoying and loving the Z Flip 5 in its current state and not looking for more. If I am, correct me down in the comment section below and let me know how much you love the Z Flip 5 in its current state. That way I could get a feel for the temperature in the room. But if you agree with me and you kind of feel the same way that I do, validate my feelings down in the comment section below as well. Let's duke it out, baby. Let's figure out. And yes, I know that my calendar still says June. I'm gonna tear it down eventually, hopefully.
It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. It's understood. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. And now I'm good. Wake up and I do my part. Wake up and I do my job. Just how I should. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. Misunderstood. Get up, had to beat those eyes. Got up and I beat those eyes. That's understood. It was always me versus me. It was never me versus you. And now I'm